Jannelle
is not available. Record your message after the tone. When you've finished, you can hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, this is Jeffrey Thomas Bodin. Calling about date of birth 05/22/97. Calling about something you might be able to help me with. Accessing prescription medication. I just got back from the doctor's today. I did get in to see a doctor at the Access Health Louisiana Belle Chase Community Health Center, Dr. Johnson, and he did successfully start, at least by prescribing, medication for hormone replacement therapy. And as we discussed that previously and finding access to that. However, the prescriptions don't seem to be going through with Medicaid or with Aetna specifically. So I was hoping you could possibly look into that and at least get back to me on the, if you can look in y'all's database with your job as a community health worker, to find what has been successfully covered in the explicit diagnoses codes, because I can give that to the pharmacist and hopefully they can fax that back to Dr. Johnson in order to explicitly get the correct diagnoses codes that I will now know have worked and have been covered, because that's the important part, so that we do not file a bunch of grievances that are irrelevant. Because I was about to file a grievance with Aetna's website, but this seems to be denied in a different way than previous medications were. And I also just do not have the education behind me to know quite as much about the conditions. Whereas previously, when I was in front of the judge for my narcolepsy, I just genuinely do have an expert level amount of knowledge to testify for that. It's also much more, I think it's a simpler disease. In general, it just really is. It's well documented, it has over 100 years of history. It's very easy to talk to a judge about. This, I don't really understand quite a lot of, and don't necessarily want to reach a judge until I do. Because that's a stressful experience. So if you could do anything on your end to help just skip that portion, so at the end of the day, I have only accurate information, even if I don't necessarily need to know how I got it, that would be great, because I'm currently trying to get covered estradiol and spironolactone, which apparently are the two standard medications. Don't have any conflicting anything with other regards to my treatment with my epilepsy or my narcolepsy or any other brain central nervous system damage for me. No family history of stroke. No cholesterol problems. The labs were all fine. It seems like these are the only two medications that I'm going to be put on, and the goal would be because I have a follow-up appointment with Dr. Johnson in November, is I'm supposed to be on them today, and I'm not. Today is the 4th of August, and these have to be covered because the dosages will be changed and modified depending upon blood work and chemotherapy regimens, and that means the pricing will also change, as of course. So somehow making the member pay out of pocket the full, what would be about $150 a month at the lowest dosing regimen, is just very clearly not how it's supposed to be working. I am on Social Security, so I know if I get in front of the judge, they still have to cover it. But this isn't the same circumstance as it was previously when I did it all by myself, with a nurse practitioner from Aetna helping me to set up the case and stuff and handling all the paperwork and things, which I think Aetna did a great job with that. So I don't know if this is necessarily your job and your expertise, but if you could delegate this to another nurse practitioner to do this, basically, I'm sure it's not the first time they've done it. I don't really understand why these two medications were not instantly covered, because they are both on the Medicaid pharmacy list. And so are the surgical procedures. And actually, I think this is the only hormone medication on the list, period. Nothing else is covered because they're not as efficacious as this or as safe. And there was no indications of why it would have been rejected. The pharmacist was already on the phone speaking to the doctor and maybe Aetna too, or the state's Medicaid, like the Magellan or something. Maybe that was it when I walked in, and that was after a 50-minute car ride with Medicaid transportation from Belle Chase to Mandeville. So they were on the phone for quite some time. It is from how it looked when I walked in and from what was expressed to me. So they're already doing things on their end, and it would just be pertinent to ensure that everything is handled on ours as well, and especially on y'all's at Aetna. So if you could reach out to me about this and you have any other further questions, I give you the notes that I took at the pharmacy. I can give you the name, the spelling of the medication. I don't know which dosage it was, but I believe there's only one dosage, the lowest that's formulated or something. It's not like it's a variable thing. So the first medication was Estridol. Second medication was Spironlactone. So it's estradiol and spironolactone, or something like that. And they are both extremely standard, common prescriptions for this purpose explicitly. I don't know if they have any other well-known usages, but the doctor put them under the auth codes or whatever for pharmacy for hormones replacement and endocrinology, not for other usages. But if you find that they are covered by Aetna under other use cases like birth control or something, please let me know those as well. I can always give them those and see if they run it through that, if that works. Because if it works, it works. And we'll just not ask questions if for some reason it's covered under that context. I don't know why it would be, but the physician did express that impotency could be a causative factor from these. So you never know. Maybe someone has already gotten through Aetna to an administrative law judge under birth control before, and they just want it covered under that so that the money doesn't have to be spent a second time. I don't know. But you can call me back at 985-272-8989. That's my cell phone. Or 985-520-4713. That's my home work number, landline. Again, that's 985-272-8989. Or 985-520-4713. Thank you.